Hi, I'm Kevin Tame, and welcome to The Hacktivist. Today I'm playing the Nexus 419 deck, and I'm playing it against an Argus deck. Just so you know, Argus, once I'm set up, it's a real disadvantage to them for me to steal agendas, because if I'm set up with power taps and Citadel Sanctuary, I take the tag and I actually gain money. So Argus really wants to rush here in order to be able to. Against most 419 decks, you want to rush, but Argus particularly really wants to rush and put that pressure on so that, and they're going to try and kill me, obviously, if I run early. So that's kind of the little precursor of what's going to be happening in this match. Okay, so let's take a look here. So I'm not sure exactly why I kept the starting hand. It has Earthrise and Sure Gamble and Underworld Contacts, but it's actually not the best starting hand when I think about it. I really want to see Citadel Sanctuary so that I can deal with tags. So go ahead and draw up here, and now I'm trying to. Citadel Sanctuary is the main card I want to see, and I drew it here on my second draw. Having the inside job is actually pretty useful though, because what I'm able to do is I am able to get past this ice when they try and rush. I'm still pretty poor though, and I can't run the risk of running too much right now to charge up Turtle because of getting hard hitting news. If I get hard hitting news, it can be a real bummer for me. And so I'm setting up here my Underworld Contacts with Maxwell James, hoping that like if I go long term, I'm able to get enough economy from Underworld Contacts. So this is a really good agenda for my opponent to put in because I can't reasonably contest it. Otherwise, I'm going to get hard hitting news and I won't be able to clear the tags. So I'm still just setting up, hoping that like my opponent can't find agendas, and that I'm able to get set up and be able to contest. So my opponent did not let me see that. So this is a good opportunity for me to use the falsified credentials. And I guessed right and guessed agenda, so that gave me money, so that was really great. So now I was still too poor to be able to contest this. So I'm going to try and contest it this turn. My options here are I can run HQ, get some counters, and then also use Maxwell James on one of the ice with inside job. But what I decide to do is I want to have the money. And so I'm going to just inside job it. And my opponent, I think, is okay with this because my opponent probably wants to hard-hitting news me. And you'll actually see that they want to hard-hitting news me here. So the economic warfare twice and hard-hitting news, like that's their window. So letting me come in and steal that agenda isn't too bad for them. They don't want to really end the run, to be honest. So with power taps, I'm going to get 1 credit. So my opponent makes it so it lands. So I'm going to have 2 drip in from Underworld Contacts. And this makes it so, and I actually think my opponent could have made that 1 tag land. I don't know if that would have been good for them. It probably would have been okay to keep it to land and then trash my Citadel Sanctuary or something like that. That probably would have been a better play for them because they could have not fired. They could have let the tag land with Citadel Sanctuary. This is actually really anti-synergistic. This was a misplay on my part, I believe. Installing Film Critic. I don't really now at this point want to put cards on Film Critic because what I want to do is I want to just take the tag and use Citadel Sanctuary. So here I really need to just get money and get counters. And I took a little bit of a risk there because my like my opponent could have hard-hitting news. So here my opponent advances this once, and I decide, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to take the tag. And I'm not going to deal with this this server because it feels like it could be like an NGO or it can be something else. Otherwise, my opponent, it could be an Atlas, but that just doesn't feel like that's what it is. So I just avoid it. So it's a standoff. I know Film Critic is not useful anymore, so I go ahead and trash it. And hopefully my opponent will have to trash one of their pieces of ice or something like that. And there's nothing really else I want to get rid of, so I just decide to hold on to this. But losing that other piece of ice is actually pretty good for me. The other thing too is my opponent has been really paying into not exposing things, which is fine. Mausolus is a great card to have, because now I can pretty much just run all I want against it. And because taking the tag isn't that bad, and taking the net isn't that bad either. So HQ is still pretty porous for them. So now I have a good engine set up. I have 2 power taps, 2 underworld contacts. It's going to be difficult for my opponent to score out of a server, especially if they have, because they are now on 4 points. They're going to need some, maybe some 2-point agenda, maybe 2 2-point agendas, or they're going to need some hostile takeovers, which they might not have in this deck. I think at this point though, I've locked the game down. I have enough credits where they're not going to be able to land hard-hitting news. It's going to be hard for them to score out of remote. They could potentially do a 3 advanced Whoredom, but I don't have I have other means to get in, like Maxwell James, and I have Nexus that I can eventually draw into. So what I'm really setting up for now is to set up for a legwork to see if they have any on HQ. Especially after this draw. They just have drawn a bunch of times. They're searching for something. And I go ahead and legwork. My opponent concedes. They realize that the game is lost. Yeah, and then they note that the drip is just out of hand. Yeah, once 419 is set up, it's almost they can get in pretty much everywhere for pretty cheap. The real struggle is against decks like Titan that rush out, or any of the the fast Asmari decks. If you leave the game going too long, 419 gets set up, and it's really hard to keep them down. Anyways, fun match here, and it was actually really tough there at the beginning, but even then, even on low credits, I was still able to recover from the hard-hitting news. I only had 2 credits, and I was still able to clear all of hard-hitting news. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know. Thanks. Bye.